Well, what day of the week is it, Eric Lindquist?
It's Wednesday.
It's a hump day. That's right, middle of the week. Who is using this, by the way? Like, who is signing on to a Zoom and using this filter in any capacity? Who is using Zoom in a non-work? Like, who is left out there doing it? I got my Back to the Future shades on because we may talk some futures today, Lindy. I don't know if you're aware of this here on the Odd Shop.
Yeah, Johnny be good. A little bit of that.
Is that the first thing you think of with Back to the Future? Or
Every time. Back to the Future or Doc.
Well, there's three movies, aren't there?
Maybe the third one being so bad, going back to the Western, it was not enjoyable in any way, shape, or form. But 1 and 2 are just beyond staples of staples. And obviously the Almanac. Right. I mean, that's what we do.
Right. By the way, I can't find this thing to turn off.
So we're stuck with it the rest of the day. Great.
No, there it is. There it is. You might want to go back to it. Now that you get to see my full face, you might want to opt to go back to it. Like, we have a community poll here. We may want to add a fifth leg to this, Lindquist.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I didn't hear what you said. I was spacing out. I was looking at bets.
Oh, okay. Well, what bets?
I'm getting ready. Let's get ready to gamble. I'm ready.
Do you want, would you like that to come out? Would you like to come out with that? Do you know that guy's doing commercials now? Isn't he?
I'm sure he is making just bank beyond bank beyond bank.
I don't think so anymore. I think he was doing like the poor person's version of cricket. Like, what was it? Like it was like, you Google the last Michael Buffer. I do agree with you, by the way, Drew. There's some villain in me when I have these glasses on. What's Buffer doing right now? He could come out for you. Let's get ready to what?
Well, I mean, Buffer got taken over by It's Time. A little bit of that now.
Who's that?
The UFC thing. It's the UFC guy who is also very, very famous and probably does a million commercials. Fighting! You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay, but I thought that Buffer is still like the
Buffer's still the OG announcer of things, yeah.
But he's not an announcer. He's just like a slogan right now. That's all he's left. They bring him out of the dark. Let's get ready to eat. Like, let's get ready to dip a chip. That's basically what he's been reduced to, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
My point being in all of this is I'm sure we could afford him saying, let's get ready to gamble. That's all. That's all I meant.
I like, ooh, let's get ready to gamble.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Revenge is in the air. All right, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about, by the way. The Masters is here. The NBA is back in full effect. So we welcome you all back. I know there was like a little absence, a little departure over the last couple of days from the NBA National Championship and Abound. So we appreciate you rolling with us, of course. Thumbs up, subscribe. Mike's in the house producing. That's Lindquist at Eric Lindquist at Shander Show here for me. You see behind me, who would I argue would be the odds on long shot, of course, but still MVP. But we have other bigger fish to fry in the NBA, like Russell Westbrook, revenge possibly in the air, but a couple of big plays popping on our tool. We'll bounce around, had a couple of double-doubles, wanted to throw off you, see if they stick. Build some parlays today. I'm sure we'll dabble in the PrizePicks world. So we have a huge, ambitious slate of shit to get to, but we know better to put it like on the side of the show because we may not get to half of it. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we're going to be bouncing around like pinballs. It's going to be wild. I'm looking forward to this one, but here's the thing. MLB, I hit 2 or 3 home run props today at plus 800. Like, nice can I start with that at least? Thank you. Yesterday, only home run call. Jose Siri batting 9th was north of plus 625. Everything was just an auto bet in every single day shape. I don't know what it was that made me fire that one up, but I felt good about it. Today, did the trio of Arozarena, Ramirez, and Wander Franco. Wander Boy goes yard first, Ramirez next. Patrick Corbin is the gift that keeps on giving. What a start to the day. MLB off to a great start. And MLB's pretty much done now. Everything's locked that I have interest in. I guess there's the one game in the evening, Toronto, Kansas City, but I have no play from it. So I'm just NBA centered now. Did you have any MLB going in the morning?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't do us any good, right? To go back and remind, unless you wanted to just use that as a slow, subtle transition into the Discord and say,
love
you
that.
could have had that. Like, that was your moment. That was your opportunity. But
you do
no,
it because, again, people
no,
need to give Eytan the love and the respect that he deserves. The guy hit
not
like
the way it started.
94 NBA parlays the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I mean, the guy's
No,
been
no.
on a vicious heater. If you've been checking out his NBA parlay video, what you know about parlay? Mr. Eytan knows a lot.
We got some stuff actually cooking on Monday, so I'm excited for that. But no, we've done really well outside of one guy, Aaron Nola. But outside of that, everything else was fine. So you're right. Baseball is rear view. We're going to build some stuff here. Ben is in the house, by the way. So the boss man for this show and beyond is in the house. He's watching. He's peering down. So just make sure that you don't get too far off track because you will be reprimanded.
Hey, I've done a couple shows with them this week already. We did some stuff for Underdog.
Shit,
Underdog has this great contest going on 2023. All the PGA Masters, so all the PGA majors. You have the Masters, followed by the PGA, followed by the U.S. Open out LA Country Club, and then you have the Open Championship at Royal Liverpool. So that's going to be some great stuff coming down the pipeline. If you want exposure to all four majors, Underdog. Go check that video out that I have. It's on the OddsShopper channel here with my guy, Ben Raza.
All right. Is
it
this
should be on Stochastic, actually. It's on Stochastic.
Are you just going to sit here for the next 53 minutes and promote every single piece of content that you're doing? Or are we actually going to talk about shit?
Whoa. Oh, man. You are I love Gotham City.
Would you prefer if I said something like that and looked in the capacity of this? Like, would you prefer that?
God, I don't know.
I could do it like this. I used to ski a snowboard, actually.
Stay with the 3D goggles. I mean, that was good stuff.
Well, that was the whole Back to the Future thing. That's all.
I know, and I love it. I want it. I want the Johnny be good throughout the show.
So yes, the heater rolls on. Definitely check this out on the Discord. I kid. But the reality is that you are on fire right now. Definitely a guy that we want to tail. You have the Masters, which we will talk about at length on this show. And it's not just who's going to win it. I think a lot of people are straight up intimidated about how to bet golf. And this is a really good opportunity to kind of explain that there are multiple levels on how you can approach the game and not just sit there with a ticket once the cut line hits and be like, my 65-1 fill in the blank is cooked. So we'll get into that by all means, but we want to remind you that not just with the free week that you have for the tool, the OddsShopper Premium tool, if I may, right, go right back and be a hypocrite and criticize Eric and then do the same thing here.
Oh my God.
But let's look at our tool in the NBA. Let's get a fresh look at the market right now across the board. Russell Westbrook, last I checked, was right there at the top, and he's popping with an 11% XROI, right? So he's under 5.5. And if you look at that, are you back with us? Okay.
I'm back.
Okay.
It was on my Wi-Fi. I had to take it off. I'm here.
Okay. No problem at all. No problem. So you've got Russell Westbrook. You've got Patrick Beverly under 4.5. These are rebound props. So rebound props seem to be beating the market. You've got guards. I know Russell Westbrook a little bit different there. And then you've got a big dog here in Mitchell Robinson under 10.5. But if you look at that at the market, under 10.5, it's under 10, a couple of other spots, including, as you mentioned, the underdog's place, right? Underdog app, pardon me. So we've got a couple of bets. The big ones that are smashing, the two big ones right now are under 5.5 rebounds for Westbrook and under 4.5 rebounds for Pat Bev. Now, with that said, a lot of people are going to be disappointed because they want to bet Russell Westbrook triple-double in a revenge scenario. And I'm thinking, all right, well, the Lakers are definitely in need of a victory, continuing momentum and all. And this is a game where you'd have to think that is petty. And let me just take you off the rails here for just a second.
Let's do it. I believe in narratives the last week of the season, by the way, for what it's worth.
Thank you. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to push on that, and you tell me if I've pushed too far, as you normally do whenever we talk about shit.
It's usually why we work.
It would, for me, it would jump out and then immediately hold and stand to reason that the LA Lakers could lose this game. They very well could lose this game, but they're not going to lose this game to Russell Westbrook. Like, they're not going to walk off the court looking back and say, the guy that we traded, the guy that we expelled, the guy that we said, you can't be here anymore, turned around and beat our ass. So I think that there's going to be a physical effort to do so. That doesn't mean that he can't get by on like assists. That doesn't mean that he can't get a couple of points. but the want and the ability and things along those, I think he's limited more often than he doesn't get limited in this game. So it makes sense, at least to me, but the market is saying it's a smash.
So are you on plus 3.5 Lakers?
I stay. No, I'm actually over the LA Lakers team total. It was 130. I think it was 111.5. I have to go back and check, but I'm over the Lakers. It was a lower total, 111 or 113, but I was over whatever that number was. I was over it.
Yeah, see, I think late season NBA, this maybe makes me a little bit different, but I like to take advantage of like the really putrid teams where it's going to be wonky spots. We did that with Portland when Portland was back at home against Sacramento, and first game was like 13.5. I'm like, this should be 18.5. Sure enough, they go on the road. They're 18.5, 19.5 point favorites. And then they stay in basketball games, beat Minnesota, you have Memphis and everything. I don't know what to do with this Lakers and Clippers game. It's obviously the one that I'm the most looking forward to watching tonight. The Battle of LA, both of these teams, they are 6 and 7 in the standings. It is just a gigantic game for both teams. Yep. The Clippers not on a back-to-back, the Lakers on a back-to-back. They said that they were uncertain about what they were going to do here. I got to assume that the Lakers are just going to be still firing it up, but I wouldn't be completely shocked. I mean, the Lakers weren't even expected to be here, and maybe they decide, trying to avoid any opportunity of running into like Phoenix. So Phoenix is basically going to be the 4 seed, or Golden State the 5. Like, it's going to be difficult for them to like slide up for Golden State or for the Clippers or the Lakers to move past Golden State in any kind of capacity. But
right,
something tells me that there could be a chance, now that they've announced that they're both playing there. D'Angelo Russell, we're still waiting on. I'm kind of with you. I'm just having a really tough time trying to read what I'm supposed to be doing with this game, where there's other spots where I think it's pretty clear there's news that hasn't dropped yet that is going to.
Yeah, and I think we can take advantage of that by all means. The only thing I would leave you with in this game, and that's why I didn't have a play on it, and maybe I would lean more over in the event that I'm taking over the Lakers team total, but an interesting angle, and I don't think it's a narrative. I mean, this is a market-driven approach here, where our tool, OddsShopper Premium, is finding a hole or just finding an advantage. And in the case of the Clippers, you can get both the first quarter point spread and the first quarter money line, 2 areas of attack that has been successful with our data that has turned around and said, all right, it's not player props, but it's targeting certain quarters and halves, which appear to have some pretty decent holes within them. So you look at this and think, well, yeah, it kind of goes to it being up in the air, kind of goes to it being tight. This is not a road game by any means, so you don't have to factor in any type of built-in advantage for the Lakers. And with the expectation, I guess, that LeBron and a healthy Lakers team, as you laid out, that variable with them, to take the first quarter money line, not first half, first quarter money line and first quarter point spread, which you basically are doubling down and playing the same thing at that point. So, hey, Clippers come out, they steal the first quarter, even though they're technically favored.
Yeah, technically favored. So there you go. I mean, if you want to get wonky,
I'm going to bet that, by the way, so you can chalk that up to me.
Okay. You're going to bet the Clippers? The first quarter
money line? The Clippers first quarter and first quarter point spread. The reason is because it's beating the market 2 times over.
Yep. So FanDuel right now, where that's available, minus 124. It looks really good. And again, a good bet is a good bet. I'm just going through right now as you're talking. I'm going through the rotations. Sometimes first quarter bets, the best part of it is like you get Kawhi Leonard for 10 minutes. Like, I think that probably makes the most sense to me on why you got to like it. I get a little bit nervous. They're going to have to play some Bones Highland. Norman Powell being back is definitely a big plus for the shooting department. But Eric Gordon questionable. I would also like to see Marcus Morris Sr. out because he's terrible at basketball, and God forbid he gets put back in the starting lineup. Batum was playing really well, kind of faded off the last couple, but still believe that he's a better option than that of Marcus Morris at this point of their careers. I think first quarter money line makes some sense there. It's going to be a ruckus Lakers-centric Clippers game, that's for sure. I know it's going to say Clippers on the floor, but nobody's going to be shocked when it's just the Lakers going nuts there. So I don't mind minus 124, try to eke some value and just having Kawhi Leonard be like, oh yeah, I'm still that dude. And they're not on the back-to-back.
No, they're not. And they come out a little fresh. That's all. We'll bounce around. By the way, a shout out to FK Coolers, a Discord veteran. $375 for the cameo vid. from Bruce Buffer. I thought it's Michael Buffer. Is Bruce Buffer his brother? Like, we don't need the Bobo version, right? Like, we don't need the lesser. We don't need the Ozzy Canseco here. If we're going to pay up for this shit, it might as well be top dollar, right?
He is the half brother of boxing and professional wrestling ring announcer Michael Buffer. So Michael Buffer and Bruce Buffer. Yeah, Bruce Buffer is
Bruce Buffer.
Bruce Buffer's the UFC guy I was talking about.
Okay, yeah. Okay. See, I don't know.
So
I don't know. I lied to you earlier and said I knew, just keep the show moving. I have no idea who he is. Honestly, I lied to you because I didn't think he'd come back up in the show. I didn't think he'd be referenced again. Yeah. Now I look like an asshole, even more so.
It's okay. I wasn't listening to you at the beginning of the show.
No,
so we
but
all
other
have our
people
faults.
were. FK Coolers clearly was because he looked up Bruce Buffer.
There you go.
Not all about you.
Oh,
it's about FK. Now, all right.
It is about FK.
Who would you spend some money on? 375. So let's put Bruce aside. Who would be the best? I threw that out there, by the way. Who would be the best? Calvin Ridley, Pete Rose. Who would you put out here? It's our show.
I'm trying to decide. I mean, I'm just also trying to be PG with it to a certain extent.
No, you don't have to be
know.
PG.
I was
Why,
thinking
you
about
put a porn star or something in here.
I was thinking about it. I was like, what are we trying to do? Are we trying to win the internet? If you're trying to win the internet, put I don't know, Alexis Texas into the mix. Riley Reid.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably go on the higher end and get like somebody who's in our field now, our world now, and probably get like Lisa Ann to do it.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Right?
Tons of traction.
All right. So is there a better option?
Oh my God, Ben Raza. You can't say shit like that. You can't. Oh my God.
Well, there you go.
Ozzy Canseco? Ozzy. I don't even know who Ozzy Canseco is. I know Jose Canseco.
Ozzy's his brother. Don't you remember when Jose Canseco was in that stupid celebrity boxing match and he illegally swapped out with his brother, Ozzy Canseco, his twin brother, and he got nailed on that shit? You don't remember that?
No, that's incredible, though. That's maybe the greatest thing I've ever heard. You have to remember, I'm a 90s kid, but like there are a lot of shit. There are a lot of things that happened in the 90s that I just don't remember because I was like, again, 13 in 2000. Yeah.
Yeah.
87. So there's certain spots that are just blank in my brain and will ever be. For me, it's like just memories of going to Timberwolves games and Bulls games. Like those were like the best, the only things I really remember from like my actual childhood in the 90s.
No, I understand. That definitely comes back to it. All right. Community parlay, by the way, is up. How did it do last night? Let's run it back with Lofty and Ben, if we can, Mike. I know. But did it hit? Just tell me in my ear. Did it hit? It did not. It lost by a hook. Hey, shoulda, woulda,
at least you're not bitter about it.
Yeah, seriously.
I had Philly -2 and I was on the over 31.5 for Joel Embiid. That worked out nicely. I just had a feeling he was going to shoot the ball 40 times or something. And
yeah,
sure enough, he's good. Easy. He won an MVP last night.
Yeah, well, I think he won the MVP when Jokic sat, whenever that was the last couple of games. But
I think he lost. Yesterday was pretty prominent. I mean, you had
the odds.
Jokic lost to Houston. Long. They lost by 19 or lost by 21 to Houston on the same day that Joel Embiid put up more than half his team's points in a win.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. The odds were already heavily in his favor before that game. He was over 2-1.
But I mean,
with 4 days
had
left,
Jokic almost 2-1 at one point in time. So I'm saying it wasn't like a lock. Now it's like a lock. I would be floored if Embiid didn't win MVP.
So you're saying that last night locked it, not the fact that he was north of 2-1, where you had 5 games left in the season. Like, come on.
The Minnesota Timberwolves were minus 1,800 on the money line and lost a basketball game the other night. So yes, I'm looking for
different
stone cold locks. Now I'm saying that it's like minus 2,000 and beyond. I would not wager a single dollar on anybody that wasn't Joel Embiid to win MVP.
Yeah, it was always at that level. The point being is that it swung to the point where like, Nobody who knew what they were doing was taking Embiid at minus 250. Like Mattress Mac wasn't laying $1 million at minus 250 because he had already won it.
Yep.
You hate Mattress Mac? All right, let's do it. You ready?
We all understand what Mattress Mac does, right? That he basically takes out insurance. It just takes out insurance against it.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just absurd.
Right. I mean, same thing with Drake. Like Drake has never placed, he's never lost a wager in his life that wasn't already insured.
I think he's lost some at the casino. I have a feeling that
casino is different. I'm talking about sports bets.
Yeah, totally.
Because you would hear a song, you would at least have one song about that.
You would.
Would you not?
Call me on my sports bet.
Is there anything hard? Wait a second. Hook. You're telling me that a hook hasn't bit you harder than any breakup in your life?
Oh, buddy, hooks. I mean, get hooked, it rips your soul out. You have a breakup, it's like, all right, there's another one. I'll find somebody else.
Brian Valdez asking about Kyrie Irving tonight. Ooh, that is an interesting game. I mean, this team just reeks of desperation.
I hate how much I like Dallas tonight. I really, really do. -6, I'm going to be jamming it. I think there's a very real chance that we get news that Sabonis gets ruled out, that De'Aaron Fox gets ruled out. There's really nothing that they can do to advance their stock. They're basically stuck in to the 3 seed no matter what. They won the division. Yeah. Looking at the West, I just want to confirm they are 2 back still, I suppose, of Memphis, but I mean, they don't have the tie break in that scenario. They would have to win out 3. Memphis would have to lose 3. I think it would be pretty foolish for them to do anything other than to just kind of pack it in, get ready, accept that you're the 3 seed. And if you flip-flop with Phoenix, if Phoenix ends up being the ones that catches you or whatever, who cares? You're talking about the 2-3. Phoenix is stuck at the 4. You're not going to have to play them through the first 2 rounds. So, like, you're in the perfect spot. It doesn't matter if you have a home court. Don't try to go out and win this basketball game. Something tells me we're going to get late news that one of them at least is going to get ruled out for this one. I can't believe that they would play everybody here on a back-to-back.
So, by the way, the question about the assists, nothing to that point in this game. And maybe it's just a matter of blowing him out. Maybe it's a matter of not being out there. Maybe it's just a matter of scoring and not needing to be a facilitator, especially with whatever's happening with Luka, right? But nothing is popping for Kyrie for us right now. So the market, at least as far as the question from Brian, we're not getting anything that would indicate, all right, go ahead and take that over. In fact, the under is the closest thing, but they're both under 0. So you can bet that at your own risk, but we basically are telling you right now, there's no real advantage to that. But look, you're right. There's some interesting thoughts and at least narratives, not even narratives. I wouldn't even say that so much. It's just what we have tonight to bet on. Final week of the regular season, some desperation, some teams that are crumbling, some teams that you can kind of just look at and say, all right, like you said, resting, and maybe that switches things. Maybe you can get ahead of that from the Dallas standpoint. So we'll get back to this. Right. I was just looking at that Giannis. All right. Bridges was one that was earlier popping. I did want to see this.
I also don't think Giannis is going to play basketball tonight.
Out.
He's not out.
No, you don't think he's going to play?
It says that he's probable to play here. Again, this is just kind of taking some kind of like a creative approach towards thinking about it. Where are the standings? Where they just go? Oh, all right, I'm back on it. Milwaukee, 3 games up on Boston. They don't need to go out to try to win this basketball game necessarily. They now have the tiebreaker. They could lose out all 3 games. This game is, in essence, a meaningless basketball game for Milwaukee. And yet he has been ruled as probable. I'm a little bit surprised by it, but we'll see. Again, I would be leaning towards an under. If you can get unders in on some of these situations where you don't think players are either going to play their full allotment of minutes, it's a back-to-back for Milwaukee. I don't think they have any incentive to win. So I think an under on Giannis for everything sounds a lot more fun. Just even on turnovers like that, it might project out well, but like, think about it from this angle, like fewer minutes, not getting pushed on the back-to-back. I have to be leaning towards unders in those situations.
Yeah, it's still at 7.5 right now. The game itself, be inclined to just take the points on the road.
Yeah, I think I am too.
Seriously. You're over that number at 7 anyway.
Yeah. Again, this news, we're still 3 hours away from tip, Easily. three and change.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't be surprised when crazy news comes in the last second for this week. This week, if you've bet this week, if you've played DFS this week, you know the uncertainty and what can happen at the drop of a hat. This game starts at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, and it could be all the way up 2 minutes beforehand. They're like, oh yeah, Giannis is going to play 25 minutes tonight. Like that's something that's
Yep.
very, very live to happen in a meaningless basketball game. Chris Middleton sat out the last one. He should be good to go here and get him some extra work. But if you got him, Drew Holiday ruled out on the back-to-back, anything like that, I wouldn't be surprised on it. And I have Sacramento kind of targeted as the same situation where I would not be shocked if that happened.
So Mike asked on the chat about Bridges, 2.5 threes, and that's actually something that is popping for us on the market. So over 2.5 threes, we have a 2% XROI with a 54% chance of it hitting that and going under his PRA. Now, the two of those can definitely coexist. That does not mean anything along those lines, 35.5 PRA. But the over 2.5, again, is on FanDuel, so it's slightly beating the market. But the point being is that it is popping and it is matching up as far as, the global market, so much, if you will. But we have it as a good bet. We have Mikal Bridges three-pointers as a pretty good bet.
Yeah, looks good to me too. I think just from a usage perspective, yesterday it was kind of a Dinwiddie situation against Minnesota. It felt pretty comfortable. I just have a huge thing for Jalen McDaniels. I think he's one of the best defenders in basketball right now for Minnesota. And him and Bridges just were going to war on each other. Bridges 9 for 24. Played 40 minutes, but that usage has been through the roof on him no matter what. 36.8, 35.8, 33.8 with 24 shot attempts or more in every single one of the last three. He's getting unlimited run. They need to win basketball games. Brooklyn needs to continue to try, and that's just incentive enough for me. They are holding on to the 6th seed for dear life. That keeps you out of the play-in tournament. They want to win this game. So yeah, Mikal Bridges, he's going to be on the floor for a lot of minutes tonight, and that means a lot of usage.
So it's at minus 111 when you look at the over 2.5 threes. But if you go to the alternate at 3+, you're going to get it at minus 110. So you got a nice little cent right there. That's what I do. Okay.
Look at that. See, what are you talking about? You don't add value. You have so much gosh darn value when it comes to this stuff. Because, like, again,
squeezing blood out of a rock. That's the value, right? Oh, my goodness, man. By the way, I'll be at the Phils tomorrow. Can't wait for that.
Oh, are you? That's going to be fun.
Trey Turner debut.
It's going to be really fun.
Yeah, it's got to be up there. Like Bryce Harper for me and T.O. I was at that T.O. that Ravens preseason game. Yeah. Where the first play of the game was up top to T.O. from deep from McNabb. And you're like, all right, this team's going to the Super Bowl. Like, it's it. It's like they're going, just fast forward. We're going to the Super Bowl.
And they did, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost. They lost.
Yeah, because Donovan was
They did go. They did go. So I'm excited. Like Trey Turner, I got to be really excited about this, don't I?
You really actually do. I mean, we're talking about like Captain America coming off of the World Baseball Classic too, and the Phillies have been really struggling out of the gate here. I think they're definitely feeling no Reese Hoskins,
no Bryce
coming off of. I think it's just a huge letdown spot. They're 1-5 out of the gate, but also. That's what's going to happen when you face a Texas team that I think is revamped and spent a lot of money. Whether it was DeGrom, even though they just beat up DeGrom in that opener.
Vicious,
yeah. So they got there. But yeah, Reese Hoskins is the main thing. Reese Hoskins, I think, is going to be a piece that's missed. And you have no Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper is also pretty big.
Gigantic. I mean, we're talking about a guy who won MVP a couple of years ago in a Phillies uniform. Last year was an absolute godsend to help run it with Kyle Schwarber. I mean, it's a gigantic bat too, but I'm saying you're going to get him back. You're not getting Reese Hoskins back this year.
No, you're right. And there's a void there by all means. All right. So I didn't want to derail. I have something on Bridges here I want to get to. I want to hit a parlay before we hit the Masters, but just think about that. What's your Mount Rushmore of in-person debuts that you've seen? All right. Now, Mount Rushmore is like the laziest, old-fashioned kill time tactic. We're not killing time, but it's also a grouping here. So I can give you top 3 if you want. I gave you 3 in Harper, T.O., and Trey. So you give me 3.
So now, you've been to all 3 of those?
Somebody at the
I went to Andrew Wiggins' first game in Minnesota. So Andrew Wiggins has to be up there. Number 1 pick. Cleveland, the hype was through the roof. He was rather good. I got to see Freddie Freeman's debut at Dodger Stadium.
That's pretty nice.
That was fantastic. So Freddie Freeman got the huge ovation. He's out there crying. It was cool stuff.
That's beautiful.
That was pretty great. I saw Clayton Kershaw when he came back from injury, make his first Dodger Stadium start. A lot of tears there too. Let's see. Those are the 3 that come to mind right off the bat. I saw Kopitar's debut in a Kings uniform, but
nice.
like I went to opening day Kings one year.
Yeah.
I think that was Kopitar's starting year. So there you go. There's 4 of them I got for you, but that just goes from like you try to go to the first game of the season for just about anything because I mean it's a party.
Sure, no doubt, no doubt. The GOAT 05, another one of our Discord veterans, saw Garrett Cole's debut at Yankee Stadium. That's a hell of a debut to see.
Yeah, that's yeah, he's okay.
That's not bad. All right, so in the time in which we've been going back and forth and conversing here, Mikal Bridges, 3+ minus 110, 4+ is plus 250, 5+ is plus 600. You ready to climb? Are you ready to go up, up this ladder?
Yeah, I'm just watching Shohei Ohtani. He's making me sad right now. Oh, there we go. We finally got a strikeout. He's just walking everybody. Stop it.
Well, you tell me. Are you going to answer my question?
Yes,
Ben, I hope you're watching.
Ladder. I'm ready to ladder. Sorry, I have so many things going on, so many tabs open, so many sports.
Then trade off with the show. Get Ben in
here.
Tag
I'm ready
out.
to rock, baby. I'm ready. I'm here. I'm jazzed.
I've carried this conversation for 31 minutes. Why don't I take a break and go to the bathroom?
Carry your ass for
read the Archie
years.
comics.
Okay.
Are you ready, by the way, to ladder?
I'm ready.
Well, did you even hear the odds? Do you remember the odds?
I remember pretty distinctly what you had said, but I want you to fire them off again for the people.
Right. That's a bunch of bullshit, by the way. That's like Ben Affleck level bullshit that you could just see through the acting right away. I expect better. You're a better actor than that. Come on.
Thank you.
You're a better actor than Affleck. Absolutely. Without a doubt. Mikal
if you're still here in 20 years, I'm going to kill you. What's that movie?
If it's
Good Will Hunting, of course.
If it's Ben Affleck, I don't know.
Okay, well, good talk. Glad we had it.
All right. So, by the way, Bridges, that's going to be our ladder. All right. Lindquist is signed on. 3+, 4+ was plus 250. 5+ was plus 600. Okay. So, there you go. I locked you in. You're in?
I'm in.
Okay. I want to go real quick, Mike, if we can, to our parlay builder. Let's go to FanDuel. Why don't you come into Pennsylvania? You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Now, everything goes. Baseball, though, is, locked in. So we have a lot here with the NBA. So let us remove everything, if we can, except for Patrick Beverley under 4.5 rebounds. That we talked about earlier. That's our anchor play. Okay?
Yep. I'm here for it.
All right. Now, let's look and see what we have. We have Corey Kispert is going to pay out exponentially more than pretty much everything else on the board, except I'll make the argument that we can go Herb Jones under 4.5 rebounds, still get a really strong 8% XROI with a win percentage of 61. We're laying 132, but that's not going to kill us. Now, granted, the 148's the anchor, so we're going to have some stuff that will even this out, but I think Herb Jones is a pretty good link play, meaning like a second play for this parlay. You tell me, though, if you see something else that you'd like for the second play. If you want to go Kispert above that, I understand because of the ROI, but we're getting a really good win percentage with that Herb Jones under 4.5 boards.
I kind of want to get some security in there. So I'm kind of looking more towards the expected win percentage. I see Emmanuel Quickly up there under 36.5, but I'm looking a little bit further down the board. Emmanuel Quickly over 5.5 assists. It's just a 2% expected ROI, minus 140.
60. Okay.
But it's 60%. Expected win percentage, kind of get a little bit of a base. It's all about that base, no treble. So I'm kind of looking at Emmanuel Quickly, who got inserted into the starting lineup. No Jalen Brunson today for injury management. So I get the unders there, but I just think he's going to have the ball in his hands nonstop against a Pacers team that has no interest in playing defense whatsoever. I haven't projected for north of 7 assists. That is just a phenomenal spot. Minus 140. Again, you're paying the juice for it, but in a parlay, I don't feel so bad about it.
All right. So, yeah, by the way, knock it off MH 123 before we hit this third leg. Absolutely. So first leg would be a full unit. Second leg would be a half unit or 3/4 of a unit, depending on how you would look at that. And then the last play would be a half or most likely quarter of a unit on a longer shot. So that would be at least a basic. You can sprinkle, you can do what you want. You can go. Maybe Eric has different thoughts, but that would kind of be a basic approach at least.
I agree with that.
Okay. So let's hit our third leg. All right. So we should probably just go back to Herb Jones then. If we're talking about win percentage, he's got a 61 win percentage.
Who?
Herb Jones. Herbert
Who?
Jones. Have you heard of him?
Have
you heard of him?
I was doing the Mike Jones bit. You got to say who, and then you say Herb Jones. Who? Herb Jones. Back then, hoes did not want him. Now he is hot. Hoes are all on him.
I don't know that one, man.
Man.
You know, my stuff is more New York City, Northeast.
I get it.
Can you give me Mobb Deep, like second, third album?
Got to get Mike Jones up off the low because Mike Jones about to blow, or in this case, Herb Jones.
Yeah, seriously. Can you give me? All right. So are you okay with Herb Jones? Who?
See, you did it. Thank you. At least you entertained me there for a second. I'm back, baby. I'm back. Herb Jones.
Well, are you okay with him in the parlay?
Yeah, I'm ready for him to go. I'm ready.
61%. Now we need one more leg because this is 3 at plus 404. It's not terrible. You want to keep that or do you want to add one more? Push this thing over the top. We don't.
I think you want to push it. Why don't you push it? Good. Go ahead.
Well, do you think Fox is playing? Legit Fox is playing?
No, I don't think Fox is playing. If I had to put a percentage on it, because again, there's no news. We haven't seen anything there. Even if he does, I would be just like slamming unders, and then if he does burn me, he burns me.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
All right, so the over was the play from the market, but what about Luka? Should we just do an under 8.5 rebounds for Luka?
Yes, I think that makes some sense.
All right, under 8.5 rebounds for Luka. So that's the parlay. Beverly under 4.5 rebounds. Quickly over 5.5 assists. Herb Jones.
Who?
Under 4.5 rebounds. Luka. His name is Luka.
His name is Luka. He might play 48 minutes tonight. What? I can't hear him. What'd you say? Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
I don't know what that is. 48 minutes of Luka Doncic incoming.
How do you not know what that Luka song is?
I don't.
It's one of the worst. Who sang that shit? It was awful. Awful. That's the only thing I think of when I hear this guy. You don't know that?
I don't.
That and Lucas. Remember that awful movie, Lucas?
Nope.
Don't throw it to blah. You don't remember that?
I don't. I'm very fortunate that I don't, apparently.
It was Winona Ryder. I believe we just talked about this. Winona Ryder's debut.
Yeah, that's amazing. We were going through debuts before the show of famous actresses because that's the things we do on our own time.
No, absolutely. All right, so there's the parlay. We've given people what they want. The beauty of it, too, and this is what I do for the NBA on the video and what anybody can do here. We'll give you a week free. We continue to tell you about this. You can just sign up and mess around with the tool. So you go to whatever state you're in. You go to whatever book you want to use, and we have every book depending on what state you're in. And I'll do this. I'll mess around. And Eric will tell you this. Anybody here on the channel will tell you this, including the people that frequent our Discord to the chat here, that having the options to see, and you'll find different things. Like one book, you may get everything is negative ROI. Don't play those. Other books, you may get everything is like 6 or 7%. So you can play around with it. Time of day, it just shifts and changes, and whatever pops up, use it. We just happen to use FanDuel and have a pretty good plus EV 4-leg parlay that pays out plus 812. Not bad.
Love it. I mean, come on. It's been on fire. You've been on fire utilizing it. So I'm following you into the dark, my friend.
Well, all right. Speaking of which, Masters.
Yes.
Now, let's look at this. I think there are a couple of ways to go with this where you can put yourself out and say, all right, I just want to bet a couple of guys to win. Or you can actually have fun and make this all 4 things, like all 4 days. I know you don't have anything technically on it. I imagine you're not betting anything in this world, but everybody's going to be betting and everybody's going to be looking. The casual bettor, the person that we can talk to and say, hey, look, our tool works. I got Colin Morikawa at 29-1, and he's dipped only because of the tool, only because of the OddsShopper premium tool. So from a CLV betting standpoint, you definitely are covered from a golf angle. But my point in this is that a lot of people are going to have eyes on Tiger. We know people are going to have eyes on Tiger. Right?
As they should.
Yeah, exactly. So you have a couple of things like 20% odds boost for Tiger to finish in the top 20. It's a very big ask. So if I'm looking at the Masters, before we look at who we're going to have to win this thing and some other bets, I think that we can target across the board. The most popular thing is going to be Tiger Woods, clearly, right?
It
As
always
far as,
is.
like, betting.
I mean, he's the GOAT. So
yes, absolutely. So
we
he's
don't
there.
see him enough either anymore. He's pretty much just playing his own tournament. He might play one other tournament outside of the four majors this year. So like that's just kind of the situation it is. Like we should be hyped to watch Tiger. Do I think Tiger is going to be all that successful? I have no idea, but he's made the cut here for like what 24 consecutive years.
Right.
One more, he ties Fred Couples, and I can't remember who else had that record at Augusta for made cuts. The main thing is that there's only 89 golfers that are teeing it up. There's only 89 players in the field. The majority of them make the cut here. If you make that weekend, looking at the weather, it looks cold and rainy and awful on Saturday. I think a lot of the field could come back into it where you could get some long shots to get through. You have somebody like Tiger shoot 2-3 under through Thursday, Friday. He could really make moves shooting even over the weekend. I don't think, people are talking about, his back might lock up. He might play bad in the cold weather.
Walk, man.
I don't care about that. I think he's more suited for that than he is, going out and trying to shoot 16 under against Scotty Scheffler or something these days. Like, I like the profit boost where it's like 20% towards it. I just have a tough time wanting to invest in. I know that's a big ask. It's a big ask. Say
that out loud that you're going to bet Tiger Woods top 20 and I will follow you to the gates of hell.
Oh God.
Because you're not going to say it.
It's not on the card right now, but I guess it could be. I mean, DK.
Wait a second. Don't do it for the sake of the show, right?
Do it for the content, Eric. Do it for the content.
If we get 1,000 likes, Eric Lindquist will broadcast this across all platforms that this is the lock of the century.
It's not the lock of the century.
It's not.
But
it's not. Don't bet.
If you want to dip your toes into the Tiger pool at the Masters, have a casual bet that doesn't pay out as badly.
Yeah.
This boost is an all right way to do that.
So there's one bet that caught my eye. And I think that if you look at Tiger as a whole, he's plus, I think, 120 or whatever it is to miss the cut. I wouldn't mess with that, as Lindy laid out perfectly. The field basically demands that anybody competent halfway at this point that knows this place, that's played well at Augusta, is geared to make the cut. And I don't think it will be even as big of a sweat as we saw last time for Tiger. Point being, though, is where is he going to attack? Where is he most likely to attack the field? It's probably day one. Before, even if you don't, like Eric, I know you don't fully buy into the body is about to break down narrative, but even if it starts to, even if there's wear, even after that first day. So what I was looking at was over 3.5 birdies for Tiger plus 105 round one.
Wow. All right. I'm here for that. Here's the thing. Like, I kind of like that bet more than anything else that I've heard about Tiger in general. You look at the par fives on this golf course for that first round. Thursday looks like it's going to be warm and nice, and things should be like, it should be a little bit gettable. They added some length to 13. I think that's going to be a 3-shot hole for more people in the field, but I think on Thursday it might play a little shorter. So that's a really good opportunity. Every par five, you kind of have to take advantage of if you want to be competitive at the Masters, but like Tiger's played here enough. He's going to make a birdie on a par 3 or a par 4, slip him in with 2 or 3. If he can get take advantage of the par 5s like he should. He was hitting it pretty good at the Genesis. So 3.5 birdies. I like that more than just about any other line I've heard on Tiger this week.
All right, lock it in. That's what I'm doing. So let's look at this. Easy thing to do is say, all right, who wins? And you've mentioned this. I'm sure you have it on your locks for the Golf Channel, which we strongly recommend that you go ahead and sub to. So real quick, let's just go rapid fire. It doesn't have to be, because there are a bunch of other things that I want to hit you with and ways in which we can play this overall that kind of keep people invested throughout the tournament, assuming that a guy misses the cut. And again, you have to be really bad, I think, for the first 2 days to miss the cut in this field. Like you're kind of expected to show up. So point being is that who is your guy right now? Close your eyes that all right, this guy's winning the Masters.
Tony Finau.
Can I throw this out?
Yeah.
Tony Finau plus 2,000, 20-1 on BetMGM. Winner without Scheffler, McIlroy, and Rahm. I was talking this over with our friend, our good friend, our mutual friend. You may know him really well, and Ben Raza. And these types of bets normally don't work in Hawaii. They don't work in swing season. But in majors, especially when you have three guys who are significantly separated from everybody else, I bring this up because he's 25 to 1, or at least was 25 to 1 when I placed this. So the difference of subtracting those three guys was 500 points. I know, I don't know. I would just throw that out as a possibility for Finau, as well, on top of your outright winning a ticket, not instead, on top of.
Yeah, the 25 to 1 one I felt pretty good about at the time. And yeah, that sounds really, really good. Just the three of them, that seems exponentially better at plus 2,000 to be three characters.
Without them.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. Okay. What do you look at with matchups?
So there's a number of ways you go about attacking it. For me, I mainly am looking at plus money that I don't agree with. I think that's just kind of how I've found success over the last however many years doing matchups in PGA. I had two that I targeted this week. Colin Morikawa against Justin Thomas. He was a dog there, plus 105. I don't know if the numbers changed here lately. Yep. But that was over on DK earlier in the week, and I fired that one up pretty nicely. I just think Morikawa, if it's going to be more of a ball striking type situation here too, and he's putting better than Justin Thomas. Everybody on earth is putting better than Justin Thomas right now. It is a buy low spot for Justin Thomas, but when you start talking about a coin flip situation, if I have it as a 50-50 and I'm getting plus 105 on Colin Morikawa, I'm taking that bet every single day of the week. And I think that's more of what this is in tune with. This isn't the version of Justin Thomas from 2 years ago, even last year at the PGA, where it's just like, oh, he's going to rattle off a lot of these. The putter has such dark periods right now that I can't even, there aren't even words for how bad he's putted this year. So in this kind of a situation at Augusta National, where you're going to have a lot of 5-foot curlers, I want somebody like Colin Morikawa who's at least going to hit the ball to like 5 feet pretty routinely.
I love that, by the way. Absolutely love that. I'm on that. I think that's a fantastic look. And the strategy makes sense. Another guy that I targeted, he's at plus 105, was somebody that I think is going to be, I don't know if devalued is the term, and maybe this is kind of bleeding into narrative, but I do think that this plays a factor as far as just people betting, especially in a Super Bowl type betting scenario in golf where a lot of casual bettors bet for the first time. But Patrick Reed over Hatton at plus 105 on DK. For a guy in Hatton, now I wish we could bet him, but we can't bet daily this week. But we just saw Hatton bail out with a hand injury, followed up with a miscut. I don't know what he's dealing with, but I do know
sharp, by the way. I saw that you had that call in the Discord. That was a sharp one. I was a little upset I didn't fire up the Hatton injury perspective thing. Unfortunately, I bet him along with Corey Connors, and that really it really downgraded my payment when you look at it that way in terms of ROI. But if I had just kept the Hatton play off the card, it would have been an absolute smash. It was still great to hit the Connors outright, but great call by you on the miscut.
No, I appreciate that. But do you like the idea of riding that to the point where it's not a miscut, but it's taking advantage of circumstance? And as you said, applying the plus money strategy to now taking a guy like Reed over Hatton. Reed, I think, is just undervalued because nobody's seen him, but he's played fine over the last stretch out on Live. And there's no reason to think that he's forgotten how to play at Augusta either.
I'm not going to act like I know how a lot of these Live players are doing in general. I know Brooks won the last Live event in Orlando. I know that the Tucson one was going on at the same time I was in Arizona and heard nothing about it when I was in Arizona. So that was kind of ironic to me. I'm with you, though. I think Patrick Reed's a pretty good buy low spot. Ben and I also, when we were doing some underdog drafts, we were going through and just clicking his name routinely. He's won green jackets, plural. Like, that's not a dude that you can be not in considering in a matchup spot where, again, plus 105 on that number.
Not bad, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you asking me?
I was asking you. Yeah,
oh, yes, sir.
Call and response. See, now who's the asshole? Look at that.
Probably me more often than you.
Yeah, that's probably
odds are than me. Real quick, we got to get to some other stuff, but what do you do with top 20s, top 40s? Because that's another way that you can bet this, and especially when you're looking at both long shots and trying to keep people in and trying to keep tickets in, I should say, as far as not just betting somebody outright. You can bet a top 40 That guy can be nowhere near sniffing the top, but that top 40 sweat or not is still going to cash. And if you bet the right guy, you can get plus money or right around that for top 40. And that opens up a top 20, top 40 ladder. So I've got a little ladder I wanted to hit you with, but how do you approach that overall?
So, I mean, for me, it's just all about value. And if you find something that just seems inefficient, it becomes glaring. That's where a tool really comes in handy for a lot of different situations. And I'm not going to ask him to be a tournament winner, but there's one guy that I'm pretty sure I got the best number you're going to get of the week. And I'm pretty ecstatic about this bet. It's still a stretch, but I have a plus 1,800 Adam Svensson top 10 ticket. It's now 15-1 is the best number that we have for it. But this dude has started to show out in the last 4 tournaments. A 9th at the Genesis, that would be one of your major events on the tour. 49th at Honda, 24th at the Arnold Palmer. Again, 24th at the Arnold Palmer, not batting an eye at it. 13th at the Players. I don't think there's a lot of comps between there and Augusta National, but like the guy is obviously showing some form in these deep, deep fields. This one has more limited field, but it's the same elite players at the top. But a 9th at the Genesis, a 13th at the Players, 2 of his last 4 events, and I'm getting 18-1 on his debut here as a pure ball striker. Yeah, I'm going to make that every single time. Still at 15-1, think it's a bet.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Endall, power for the win. I mean, this is a dude who has clearly played in all types of conditions against all types of fields and has performed at a high level, right? Mm-hmm. So if there was somebody to break through in that regard, I mean, sure, but I think that there are going to be other people that a lot of guys are going to be looking at, a lot of eyes, I should say, will be looking at, and that's Sahith Theegala, clearly, right? Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be a popular long shot. So I boosted him. I thought, you know, what the hell? I'm not going to take him to win. I'm not going to take him top 10, anything along those lines. But I think that there's an opportunity for him at top 40 if you can boost him. FanDuel had that 50% thing. So I got him at plus 108 boosted, right? So at least he's plus money. And top 20, I did take a full, what I think is going to be a public bet. That's fine. But the other guy that I wanted to get your thoughts on that I think, look, is kind of like the Theegala fast forward a little bit, like where we thought Theegala would be is now where Kurt Kitayama is. Mm-hmm. And that's somebody that I think I would look at as a top 40, top 20.
Yeah, I mean, for him converting the way that he did at the Arnold Palmer, excuse me, I'm starting to lose my voice. I think it's definitely a spot where Kurt Kitayama can go out and perform here too. I don't have a ton of interest there. I didn't really circle him on the card by any means, but might have been a little bit of an oversight. I will take a gander at one Kurt Kitayama.
Here's what I would do. We're going to go back to just what the market suggests here for the NBA. See if we've missed anything, added anything. Remember that parlay. I see a couple of these already at the top, including Herb Jones. But yeah, I think go to the OddsShopper, the written site, and you can see I laid out a decent case for a guy like Kitayama as an outright, but also mandating that you, of course, ladder him because that's the key. Right. Is 40 and 20. Jaylen Brown's on the board here, over 5.5 rebounds. FanDuel against the Raptors at home. Look, I get Toronto has been sluggish and they're still in like this play-in zone. Boston, I don't necessarily think that they have to send a message to anybody, anything like that, off that loss to Philadelphia. It's probably just going to be more in the nature of it. I don't know how much you're going to minutes, though. Is that a concern at all with you with Brown? It's popping for the market. It's a pretty damn good bet that we have him getting 6 rebounds at least.
Yeah, I think we got to be paying attention to this Marcus Smart news to really want to fire that one up. That's kind of a wait and see approach, I guess. If you get Marcus Smart ruled in, then you're just golden with that ticket, and it might move a little bit if you see Marcus Smart getting ruled out. So maybe you want to be ahead of the shift there. I think that there's definitely some merit to it. I think you're probably still getting a full allotment. It was a back-to-back for him there. He played on the 31st as the last time with this back issue. I think he'll be pretty good to go there. Even 34. Yeah, I think it's a really good bet, actually. I'm kind of running the numbers on it. I think Jaylen Brown, that might end up making my card now.
Yeah, that's something that I'm going to pull a U here real quick. And go ahead and bet this in the middle of it.
Oh, so I was doing that throughout with baseball there. Angels are up 2-1 now, though, so I'm in a good mood.
Yeah, this is a good bet. So minus 142 on FanDuel is where we had it. All right, there's more. Don't worry, there's more. including, look, we have a couple of guys that are popping for overs, but we also have a bunch of different scenarios that you laid out. And that means a lot of minutes, right? A lot of usage, just a lot of opportunity for guys. Decent odds across the board for double doubles tonight. You know that, right? Have you ventured into the triple double streets at all?
Oh, all the time. I try to.
No,
Again,
I
that's
meant like today. I meant today.
Oh, no,
Bonus
not
is
today.
out. Luka Doncic is
I got
out.
nothing today. I got
nothing there. Westbrook is out. We're not playing that. LeBron at 16-1. I'm not doing that. You can dive into that. Giannis, we're concerned about minutes. The only other guy would be Brandon Ingram at 22-1, but I wouldn't do that. I'd rather play him at a double-double at this point, right?
Yeah, I think I would too. I'm looking at the board, seeing if there's anything that I like. Nothing that's popping immediately. I mean, this is weird, but Brandon Ingram's the one that I have graded out the best. 27-1 over on FanDuel? Is that correct? Am I looking at that correct?
I had 22 on DraftKings. You had what?
Take a look at it. 27-1. If that is correct, because it's uploading from the spreadsheet, and then I cross-reference stuff with OddsShopper every time, but I think 27-1 is the number at FanDuel. If that's correct, that would be my favorite triple-double bet, and you could bet like 0.1 units on it and get 2 back. Pretty cheap sweat tonight if you want to fire that up. I
didn't see it, right? That famous Russo line. Okay. I didn't see it.
I'm just saying, I haven't clicked refresh on that yet, so it might be an old stale number. Let me just double check. Make sure I do the stuff for the people. The Arizona, yada yada yada. Continue on. Say something else here, and I will find that exact number for you.
No, I'm just looking to see if there's anything else from a double standpoint that would truly pop out. Again, I'm not going to play like Bobby Portis or Vooch, right? So you're going to try to find somebody in that range. Jordan Nwora was an interesting candidate at 500 if you wanted to put a little sprinkle, only because we had him pretty convincing getting over his rebound prop, ranging in that 7. And I think if you can do that, you can make an argument at least, but not somebody that I would talk in depth here. I'm going to wait unless you thought you mentioned the 10 minutes for Kawhi, 320 for Kawhi Leonard. That might not be high enough for Kawhi Leonard for you.
Yeah, I think that might be a little bit low.
Okay.
And then, I mean, this game is going to be just incredible. I don't think you're ready for what's about to go down. It's going to be epic.
No, I mean, I put it at Nwora right now. All right, community parlay, that's locked in. Lakers plus 3.5. That's the community leg. Yeah, I didn't see that either. Thank you, MC Sant. I didn't see so we'll keep an eye on that, because if that thing pops up, by all means, and that's why we offer you this free week by all means here too. So let's look at this, man. Community parlay, first leg is in. Take your time. What's your leg? I'll be quick on mine, so I'll give you the floor here.
Oh, you're going to be quick on yours?
No, I don't know. I'm going
to go the Emmanuel quickly. I like the over 5.5 assists for it. We're going to be parlaying it together. I feel pretty confident that no matter what book. So we're looking at -139 over on Caesars is the prevailing number there. Let me find what the best numbers are. We're building it over on FanDuel. I'm going to pull it up here as we're going. Let's go. Yeah, let's do it on Caesars at the moment, but I'm going to find this other thing. I can't believe I can't find this triple-double number. Why it's in my sheet and then it's not that's showing really up on this. But
utterly, thoroughly disappointing.
I know. I'm pathetic in quite possibly every single way possible. Yeah, -139 is the number on Emmanuel quickly.
Okay. So I have to find out. We're on FanDuel now?
Yes. Well, -145 on FanDuel for it. I'm okay with that, by the way.
I don't care. You have to tell me what.
Yeah, book. Go to FanDuel. All
right, look, just put the Rangers in there. The money line for the Rangers. Okay? That's
easy peasy.
Absolutely. Look, both of these teams are fighting. You can get a -118 on FanDuel. If you can find a better number, that's great. It's probably dipped a little bit because earlier I think the Lightning were either even or just north as a road dog, but it would make sense if both sides New York Rangers money line. It's 18 on FanDuel. If you can find a better number, then by all means, bless you. But both of these teams need this game. They're both fighting for seeding in their respective divisions, and the Rangers are at home. So, and it's basically a pick 'em, but I think the Rangers are better right now, especially coming off a little momentum. I'll take New York, add that to the parlay. There you go.
Love it.
Anything else you want to get in here? Home run play? Any Masters long shot or any?
I'm still basking in the glow of 2 of the 3 Tampa Bay Rays plus 800 hitting that homer. That was awfully fun this morning. Tampa Bay covering the 1.5, the lock from last night. Need the Angels money line in a very bad way here, and I would really like Ohtani to throw over 6.5 strikeouts and 7.5 strikeouts for both of those pieces, but. Nothing that I have going for the evening game. I think it's going to be a sit back and watch the baseball. And then for the NBA, just get ready to react to news. We've got the news god. I saw him here in chat, El Negro Loco. He's there covering you guys in the premium Discord at Stochastic, in the premium Discord here at OddsShopper. Make sure that you're following that news and tracking it, because there are definitely some edges to be had by making strong assumptions, if you will, about what's going to happen with injury news.
Well said, my friend. On the way out, I'm going to give you a nice little cheat code here. This is easy money. There's a busted slot when it comes to a Masters bet, okay? Tommy Fleetwood is 3-1 top Englishman. 3-1 top Englishman, all right? The guys above him are banged up. Hatton at plus 250.
Fitzpatrick.
And Fitzy, yes, at plus 250. So chances are that within the slaughter that is the walk of Augusta, one, if not both of these men in front of Tommy Fleetwood will fall to that battle of attrition. And you're just going to see Fleetwood stand above. Now, look, Justin Rose, I get it. There's a possibility. Danny Willett will not shock the world. There will be no long shot. There will be no whatever the hell that was in Mudville. But Tommy Fleetwood, 3-1. That's a cheat code. Top Englishman. Are you in?
Sure.
We'll see you.
Much love.